One, and we are live. Hello, hello, hello out there, all the lands across the land. We're on Facebook and YouTube tonight. You are tuned in to the conversation on our extra special night. This will not be the night. We will be doing Wednesday night. The last couple of weeks, our schedules have all been crazy, and so that's why we're here on tonight and not Wednesday night. But starting next week, we'll be back on Wednesday night for everyone. Hold up, some technical difficulties, going through some changes, and then
you got this.
Okay, we're back. All right, and like I said, welcome to the conversation. Tonight's cast. It's really cool that we have such a big cast now because we can give some people days off. We don't all have to be on here every week. So tonight's cast, we have Michael over here and over there. Underneath me, we have Kate.
Hi,
and
honey.
we have all the way down in Georgia, we have Shaq. So our audience, to you guys, you will be seeing different rotating cast members from here on out. And that was always my goal, is to have a pretty large pool so we can have like a cast A, a cast B, and just, do some different things from time to time. So I kind of like this. What do you guys think about the different casts? You guys like it, or the work in progress?
Yeah, I think it's nice to get different opinions.
Yeah.
I'm always with whatever you do. It don't bother me.
Awesome. So let's talk about your weekends and what you guys are doing. Michael, what's been up with you since we've seen you?
Know. It's the same thing for me every weekend these days. I just launched a new business. It's the Terrarium of Michigan. I'm there every weekend. This weekend coming up, it's a 90s party. And we have something called Pig and Whiskey, which is like this pork and liquor festival in downtown Ferndale. So I'll be there all weekend.
It's called Pig and Whiskey?
Pig and Whiskey, yes.
That sounds fun. So it's this weekend. Tell people about it and where they can.
I want to hear more.
Yeah, so we're at 22919 Woodward Ave. It's right there in this stretch in downtown Ferndale, like sort of Boogie Fever. It's a plant lounge, everybody. So if you want an East Coast vibe, nice, intimate, but also filled with plants like these beautiful ones behind me, we're the spot to come to. Now, the Pig and Whiskey part, go to the Ferndale webpage for that. I mean, that's kind of like I'm along for the ride with everybody else for that.
Awesome. Well, good luck with that. And I wish you all the success, and I'm looking forward to hearing how it was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Shaq, all the way down in the ATL, what's going on with you this weekend and since we saw you last?
Oh man. It's kind of boring right now. I've got two things coming up. Back to school. As we know, I'm the lesbian single mom over here, and so I'm going through. We are preparing, so I'm doing shopping and just little minor stuff. We've got a couple weeks, before everything. Our kids are back to school in August, the beginning of August.
August 1. That's so early.
I was just thinking that. Wow.
Yeah, Georgia, our schedules are a little different from up north, so it is creeping up on me fast. So I'm kind of dealing with that, and then I see Beyonce this month, so I'm preparing for the trip. It's going to be a tight turnaround. I'm shooting up there, man. I'm seeing, and then getting ready with the kids. I'm going with my best friend and her family, and so it's a lot going on. So between trying to prepare for everything and just general, everyday living.
Where are you seeing Beyonce at?
So I am doing Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing the Detroit show. So I'm from.
You'll be in my neck of the woods. Now,
Yeah.
With that part, okay.
Yeah, we are in talks now. It's like, what are we doing? Are we getting a hotel? None of us are going to be in our hometown. The show is in Detroit. We're all from Michigan, but so it's just, and then just general living, man. I'm swamped right now. Every time I turn around, I got something to do.
So, okay. Yeah. Well, we're going to see Beyonce the 23rd. I don't know if Detroit is before or after Chicago, but
yeah, it's after. I'm doing the 26th. My show is the 26th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully she's well rested after Chicago.
Yeah, she's going to be here for 2 or 3 days. So
yeah, I think Detroit is one.
Oh, really? Okay.
I want to say we're the only, but I could be wrong. I can't remember now. I'm just glad it's here. I'm excited for the show, but I'm ready for it to be over. The logistics of it, it was ambitious. I would have never inconvenienced myself like this for any show but her. Seriously.
Past you should have had a conversation with future you and said, rethink this one.
Yeah, I can't see. We were just so determined, and it's crazy to be in Atlanta and not get Atlanta tickets. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
We were all on multiple lists trying to get. I mean, we were just on lists.
Really?
Yeah, we ended up scoring tickets in Houston, and we scored tickets in Detroit, and we chose Detroit.
Oh, okay, awesome. Well, we'll have something to talk about in a couple of weeks here. Kate, what's been going on with you?
Hi, honey. Oh my God, my camera will not let me be great. I just got a little stand, and it was not coming through for me. So I am reeling, but I'm trying not to spiral.
What have you been up to this week?
Oh my God, just nothing fun. Just parenting, 2 kids, boy, mom.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah, her camera's hating.
Being a Libra in every way.
Oh, what exactly is going on with your camera? Like, because it keeps going in and out.
I do not even know. It is just turning its back on me. I'm like, what do I have no idea what is going on. I was trying to put it on my stand.
Okay, well,
I'm glad I'm not alone in this. I'm glad Shaq's kids are hollering at too.
We actually, with me last night, what did I do? I didn't do much this weekend. Me and Hector hung out and just did like the shopping thing, like going to Target, running those kind of errands. Last night, Marcus, a friend of our show, our co-host, flew into Chicago because he wrecked all havoc once he got here.
Okay,
he came in and we took him out to Boys Town. We went to a few bars, and the Marcus you see on this show, I just want to tell everybody, he's 10 times more there in person. Like, he is everything that you would think he is. He's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun.
Amazing.
Yeah. We'll talk more.
He has a vibe.
Yeah, but he'll be back next Wednesday. Oh no, this coming Wednesday he'll be back. And I'll let him share more details about the trip when he comes back. So, anyways, let's jump into these hot topics. We're gonna start off. I'm gonna go to where we go. Judge orders. Actually, no, we're not gonna start that one. We're gonna start with this topic has been creating a lot of buzz all over social media, and a lot of the celebrities, including Boosie, have spoke up about it. But health professionals are now being told to call vaginas bonus holes to avoid offending trans patients. Okay, so let me explain more of this. They're asking health professionals to use the term bonus holes when referring to vaginas in order to offending transgender and non-binary patients, according to the Daily Mail. The suggestion was made by a charity called Joe's Cervical Cancer Trust, which aims to provide information and support for health professionals treating patients with cervical cancer. Per the news outlet, the charity clarified that they were not suggesting that all women use this term, but rather it was important to use inclusive language that would reach out to transgender and non-binary individuals. Thoughts? Michael, do you want to start? What do we think about this? Not we. What is your opinion?
This is a tough one for me. I love our trans brothers and sisters. I have never heard of this phrase bonus hole. To me, it sounds like a video game. Vagina is a scientific word, right? We can say these things to each other, to our children. Does everything have to be controversial? And if this is something that is, can't we come up with something better than bonus hole? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Does everything have to be controversial? Shaq, what do you think? You're muted. We can't hear you.
If a gynecologist called mine a bonus hole, I would be reeling.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So
Shaq.
when I was about, I want to say 13 years old, I experienced the worst pain of my life. Um, and then for many years, I was experiencing some of the worst pain of my life. It's called a menstrual cycle. And the thing that happens when you go through this is you feel very strongly about your womanhood. And so when people begin to take it away or take the words in a way that you've always grown up with, that you identify as, it can be a little tough. So one of the things that I always try to do is remain inclusive, right? To remember our trans brothers and sisters, and I don't want to live in a world where people use inclusive language and then we have a problem with them. I think that if that's very important to you, I think it's okay. But I think that it is also very okay in being inclusive to then not exclude the lived experience of millions of people. And so I come no. I don't like I don't like it. I
Yeah.
don't like it. I think as we ask pronouns, I suppose we can ask people what they want to also be called in the lady bits. Let's just do it that way.
Yeah.
Okay. You give
True.
me your
Check it off. It
pronouns
has to
in
be like a box.
and your male bits or your lady bits. And if I'm
Yeah.
into that, I'll do it. But what we can't start doing is taking away verbiage that exists because I have no desire to tell you that you ain't a woman if you want to be a woman. But baby, that 13-year-old experience makes me feel very firm in my womanhood. And I don't want you to tell me that I don't got woman parts.
Yeah. To me, it's not even about that. And I guess I gotta play devil's advocate as always. But to me, so basically this you're saying offend real women so trans people don't get offended.
I don't want to say real women. I think that's too strong. I have no desire to tell you that you aren't a woman. I think that if you go out there and you identify with women and then you go get yourself a vagina, I'm okay with you saying you a trans woman. I'm cool with that. I'm not okay with saying I'm not a woman. And I don't know that I don't understand how being inclusive means exclusion because it kind of does. When you start taking away my right to be a woman, my right to be called a woman, and when you start legislating that I don't have that my vagina isn't a vagina, and it's been, so that's kind of where I go with it. It's tough. I think it's tough, and I feel very, very strongly for the transgender fight, right? Because it is the fight within a fight within a fight within a fight, and I don't want to hurt them any more than they're being hurting. This is my vagina. I don't have a what you call it, a blowhole, a lady
bonus
hole.
hole.
We need a better name for that.
I don't need a better name for it. We have a name.
I'm gonna get to Kate in a minute on her opinion, but going back to what you said, the fight for trans. Everyone knows that I have always, it's not a secret, I have always been a little bit more conservative when it comes to the trans issues and hot topics. And last week I watched a new documentary on HBO Max called The Strut.
I was looking for a way to work that in, so I'm glad you brought it in.
And it really I don't want to say opened my eyes, but it really kind of, and I won't even say softened me a bit, but it gave me another way to look at some of these issues. It reminds you to be
empathetic. It does. It reminds you to be empathetic.
It also reminded me how hard trans women fought on the front line for gay rights in the late 70s, early 80s. So then I had to start rethinking stuff. But I won't say that I don't believe what I believe, because I still believe in everything that I believe in. But it just gave me another way to look at some of these trans topics, these hot topics, and to be a little, like you said, more empathetic. So if you have time, watch The Strut. It's on HBO Max.
The Stroll.
I'm sorry. The Stroll on HBO Max. It's really, really, really good documentary.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It was directed and produced by a trans woman.
Yeah, Kristen Lovell. I think I said it right. Lovell.
Yeah. And it just really gave like the behind the scenes on like what trans sex workers had to go through the late 70s, early 80s, like getting arrested. They're saying sometimes they would service men who were cops, and after they were done, they would arrest them.
Yeah.
So just really personal, deep stories. So if you have time, watch that. But Kate, what do you think about this?
What about like Bussy? Like, why is that not? I thought that's what we were calling it. Okay. To be honest, I don't care. I would just be alarmed if a gynecologist referred to it as bonus hole. I just think that's like alarming. But I'm all for the inclusion. Doesn't offend me. But is it going to be like in a check box? Like, what are your pronouns? What do you prefer as far as terminology? I don't.
Let's just do that.
I could see a lot. Yeah, I could see a lot of people being offended by it, but it doesn't take my womanhood away from me.
Sure.
So.
Staying on the same topic as trans hot topics and what's going on right now politically in the trans world. There's another story coming out of Kansas. A district judge, Teresa Walton, her ruling stops residents from making the change for at least 2 weeks. Though she may expand the order until the litigation is complete. Attorney General Chris Kobach also reportedly sued members of the Democratic Governor Laura Kelly's administration, suggesting a newly enacted law requiring the state government to use biological gender on identification. So basically, this judge has ordered Kansas to stop changing trans people's sex listing on their driver's license, which will go into effect on July 1st. It overturns the state's existing policy allowing residents to change the gender listed on their licenses according to the gender identity. In Walton's ruling, she wrote, licenses are used by law enforcement to identify criminal suspects, crime victims, wanted persons, missing persons, and others. Compliance with state legal requirements for identifying license holders is a public safety concern. That's a lot.
Let me just say, lead off with this. This type of policy, no matter where it is reductive, it is damaging, it is a microaggression. This is entrenched discrimination, is what this is, right? When you have a governor saying things like, we can't dare to put their correct gender identity on a driver's license because we have to solve crimes. What is that governor really saying? Are they saying that a trans woman couldn't pass as a trans woman, and so we'd have to say it's a man if it's a suspect? I mean, there's so much packed into this type of statement and this type of policy. It just kind of makes my stomach turn. I think this is a tough fight. We're going to be fighting it for a long time. And I say a little prayer for my trans brothers and sisters in Kansas. This is a tough spot.
Yeah, I think it's ignorance at its finest. First of all, when people are evading law enforcement, one of the things they do is disguise themselves. So and so suddenly none of that matters. Yes, because the man will absolutely put on a wig and pretend to be a woman if he can get away from the cops. They put on masks, and then you can't tell anything. When people rob banks, what do they put on? Masks. So like this idea that people being able to the trans people need to identify their birth gender, it's just absurd. And then IDs also, they do things, they're used for identification. So really, if we're going to make them identify themselves, they probably should be identified as what they look like. And so when we're talking about trans men and women, often they look like men or women. They look like their chosen gender, the gender that they believe they live or that they are to themselves, not necessarily what they were born biologically as. So it just seems like a way to police them, another way to discriminate against them, another way to make their lives hard. And let me tell you, even if I was more conservative in nature, clearly I'm not, but even if I were, I think this would just be silly. The research is out there. This whole idea of policing people through their IDs, it's just dangerous, and it doesn't work, because people who want to commit crimes will do things to help them evade law enforcement. So
please say solving crimes anyway.
Don't make a look of damn sense. But any way that you can mess with people, any way that you can stop different people, you'll do it, and then you'll legislate. And we should all be concerned about this because, as we all know, you pick on the small people at the bottom of society, but it works its way up. And so then the next thing we know, they will be giving us a hard time. They'll be coming for the gays.
Yeah.
Come for the straights. They'll be coming for you next too. Now you gotta have your idea. You're going to prison. You know, now you come on, man.
Yeah, it's definitely heading in that direction.
It always moves up. It doesn't stop on the little people. It doesn't. That is the basis. And once you ground those people up, well, the machine needs to be fed. So then you just work your way up. And the next thing you know, professors are getting stopped in their neighborhoods and celebrities are getting harassed and targeted. And then you're just like, what? How did we get here? Well, it started somewhere. So
yeah, Kate, what do you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody identifies as a woman, then they should be allowed to have it on their driver's license. I mean, why, if you identify as a woman, a trans woman, and it's on your passport, but you have to say that you're a male and you're trying to travel, I mean, that could be dangerous in another country. You just never know. I mean, it's just trying to leave people out, and that's just like such a dumb reason. The police aren't solving these crimes anyway. They're not solving any damn crimes. Like, statistically, law enforcement ain't solving any damn crimes, so it's like, stop using that as an excuse.
What happens when their visual doesn't match, right? So how do you go further? Do you say, let me see your dick?
Right, pull it out.
Right.
Get rid of it.
Exactly.
Oh God,
where do we draw the line here?
How are you gonna check to figure out whether or not that's a birth vagina or a factory bought vagina? It gets murky.
Right.
Yeah.
What do we do? I don't know. Where does it stop? Are you now like frisking people, and are you reaching for balls? How are we confirming? What are we doing?
You know, I think some of these laws and these new this garbage that they want to put into make laws and stuff like that. I think they just think of this stuff, but they don't really think it through. Like, how is this going to be enforced? Like, it gets like you said, it gets murky, and it just gets.
Actually, I think if we're being really and truly honest, it's a really good way to sneak in legislation that screws everybody. But now you have somebody to blame, right? We're stopping the trans people. And so people are so up in arms because we all want to be mad at somebody, right? And so you kind of forget how things can affect everybody because you're focused on this thing you don't like. So now they're talking about, hey, she's in your bathroom, and you're getting mad about that. And now you've got a collective reason for everybody to get mad and get to complaining. And so now it's a smoke screen for them to sneak in things that they can then apply across to the broader population. Because all these things have to pay off. And if all you're doing is targeting trans people, we're not that high a percentage of they're not that high a percentage of the population. How are you paying for things? There has to be more than just these guys affected. That's just common sense. But common sense ain't common anymore. So, you know.
Yeah. Well, of course, we'll probably be talking about this in the next few weeks. So we'll just be watching where this goes and if it goes anywhere. So moving from Kansas all the way up to the city of Chicago, I can't find my exact notes on it. That's why my head's down. But I will give the gist of it. R. Kelly has been basically forced to give a portion of his royalties to the victims in paying them back. So, and he says that there shouldn't be a celebrity version of the Constitution when it comes to going to trial. R. Kelly had a conversation recently with WAP 100 and explained how he feels like he's not being treated equally as to others because he's a celebrity. During the convo, Kelly said he wrote down a few things that he wanted to speak about. In quote, the 14th Amendment is equal protection under the law of the 5th and 6th Amendment, deals with due process. Everyone must have a fair process, and there should be not a celebrity version of the Constitution when it comes to going to trial. The law is just not a song they can remix to satisfy their agenda, in quotes. He continues saying, quote, no matter what some people may think or believe about R. Kelly, they're entitled to their opinions. But I want people to remember that this is our constitutional rights and are supposed to look like their constitutional rights. Their due process is supposed to look like my due process. My equal rights are supposed to look like everyone's equal rights, in quotes. So there's kind of two stories going on there. One, we're talking about him having to hand over his royalties to pay his victims back. And two, he feels like he's not being treated fairly during his trial. So being the lawyer or having a law view of this, Michael, what do you think about what he's saying?
So we'll start with the first one, which I think is far less controversial. The man did some horrific things to a number of people, and I think it's entirely appropriate that his royalties go towards restitution. But on the other side of that, it's funny because when I read that article, I thought that he was saying other celebrities perhaps got a better treatment when they were facing trial than he is getting as a celebrity facing trial. It's hard for me to wrap my head around an argument that R. Kelly is making that he is somehow being treated worse than other folks who've done the things that he has done. He's done some serious offenses, and he deserves, I suppose, to face the consequences of his actions in those respects. All of these things are heightened by celebrity, but I don't think he's been unfairly singled out. I mean, we could go down a very long list of people who have been canceled in the past 2 or 3 years when there's a shred of proof, and much less the mountain of evidence that we've got for R. Kelly. So I don't know if these kind of seem like crocodile tears. Seems a little out of touch to me.
Okay, Shaq.
I agree with him. He is being treated differently. That's why when we had video of him sleeping with and peeing on a child, he didn't do a lick of jail time. It's interesting that people will talk about celebrity in terms of what they're losing, but they always leave out all the things they gained. It took a really long time to lock R. Kelly up. Meanwhile, the evidence was all there. We all know he married Aaliyah and that a marriage was annulled. It's common knowledge. Most of what R. Kelly did is common knowledge, and R. Kelly just was free for a very, very long time. And so, yeah, celebrity does alter things, and that's why you were free for so long. Unfortunately, now you're also feeling the burn, maybe very, very strongly. Well, you know, it's our benefits can also be our negatives, and that's just life. And as for the royalties or whatever, I mean, if I get in trouble right now with the IRS, they will garnish my wages, they will take my children's lunch money, and every single thing I got on this earth for me to pay back. So I don't know why he doesn't think that the things that he has don't have to pay his debts, especially given that he's now in prison because of the things he did. I would agree with I don't even know if it's crocodile tears. I think this is the part where we remember that something is just really wrong with this man.
Yeah.
And this man just needs to be away from the general population. But in my personal opinion, they should give him a microphone and a keyboard.
Oh, ignition, bring it back. So, you know,
let him keep working.
Part 2, I don't know.
Right.
Come on.
He's got people to pay and albums to sell. I would let him go back to work.
He's been doing concerts in jail.
Yeah, let him go to work and let him get his people. He needs to pay off those debts.
He's on stage. But yeah, they do. They should let him still work because they have people that are going to stand by him. You know, his fans, his diehard fans. I love R. Kelly. I love him as a musician, and I mean, I hate, what's happened. Obviously, I hate what he's done, but he definitely, absolutely should pay restitution to the women. I saw the show, obviously, but I also read Portia Williams' book, and I had no idea she was part of, his little harem. And I was just, I just had never read any material about it. So she told her story, and obviously what happened with Aaliyah was gut-wrenching, but ultimately just hearing it from Portia also, yeah, he needs to pay up.
He's the most open secret.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't a secret ever.
Can I ask a question to the group, and whoever wants to answer, feel free. But first I want to look at one of our comments. Someone asked, Where is it at?
Did he sell his catalog?
Did he sell his catalog? No, he did not sell his catalog. I don't think. If somebody wants to fact check that really quick, I don't think he sold his catalog.
He needs to liquidate. He needs to.
Yeah, but I want to pose a question to the group. What happens so some of these girls that were with R. Kelly, allegedly, some of their parents outright knew what they were doing, kind of probably drove them to the hotel in hopes to get fame, recognition, a reality show, a record deal. What about them?
The parents?
The
I'm
parents,
sure they live with the guilt.
the daughters,
Sure
some of the daughters.
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely pimping their daughters out. Absolutely. You know, they had dollar signs in their eyes. But at the same time, you know, R. Kelly is, you know, I mean, he's a legend. He is one of the most talented writers, singers of our generation. And I probably would have been excited for my daughter, you know, if I had one, and be like, oh, let's, you know, and this was before, you know,
was a hit maker.
this was before connecting with people on Instagram. So, you know, people they didn't know all of the dangers of this back then.
Yeah.
So, but R. Kelly straight up just took their daughters, put them in his basement, and turned their phones off.
Okay, well, let me also pose.
Right, it really is.
Unfortunately, sex is for sale, and yes, it is. But let me also say this: so people who live in Chicago, from what I hear, I have a neighbor, and they were telling me that their daughter, R. Kelly, used to frequent at this Boys and Girls Club on Sheridan. And he would go up there and play basketball with the kids. He would go write music with the kids. And a lot of parents, everyone knew in that circle, they already knew what R. Kelly was up to. And they still allowed him to come to the Boys and Girls Club and hang out with the kids and play basketball.
Everyone in Chicago has a story about R. Kelly being at like the Rock and Roll McDonald's or doing something.
Yeah. So what
I heard about R. Kelly in Michigan. As we know, there's a pipeline from Chicago to Michigan. And I heard about R. Kelly as a kid in Michigan. So yeah, So
I guess my question is this: what about that? Like, everyone looks like him as a monster, and he is, but there's two sides to this. I think you have to look at that. And I'm always playing devil's advocate on this, but
completely, I hear you. But I do think, and I am not okaying parents at all, but I do think that we have to examine the hold that money and wealth and power can have over poor people. And his victims were systematically poor people. You know, the bulk of his victims are economically challenged people, and economically challenged people are vulnerable. They are. The idea of getting something, of getting some money, of getting a come up, of being able to push your kid into a situation where they sell a little this, but they maybe are set for life. R. Kelly was a hit maker. I'm not okaying anything. I'm simply saying that we cannot pretend like people with money and power can't have a predatory influence on poor people. And it is really a testament to people's values and their strength that they resisted. And some people just don't. And I think that is capitalism sucks. So
well, we all have our opinions, and that's why we call this a conversation. So the whole situation is just unfortunate. A talented man whose life is basically over, and these victims who will be affected for the rest of their life by this. So,
and let's talk about how we're hurt by it, because we all have an R. Kelly song. We grew up on R. Kelly.
Oh yeah.
We all loved R. Kelly's music. It is complicated.
Yeah.
So complicated when the R. Kelly song comes on for me. I go through all types of emotions. Do I cut it off before I can think? My foot tapping. I know all the words.
Oh no, it's never complicated for me. It's not complicated for me. I'm going to play his music because it's his music. He's an artist, and I can separate the artist from.
Yeah, but every now and again he say something. I'm like, I know he's talking about a little girl. It's complicated.
AJ, nothing but a number.
Moving from Chicago.
I know. That was my song too. I'm like,
moving from Chicago to the UK, we're going to talk about this trend that's been going on. These artists have been in concert and getting objects thrown at them, cell phones,
craziness,
just craziness, cell phones, pops, video game controllers. Like, what's going on? And this is not just with Harry Styles. It's been with some other artists as well, but Harry is just one of the recent ones, and he got hurt really bad. I don't have the clip, but I'm watching it on my phone right now. What is this? You pay $700-800 to go to a concert, and then you want to throw a cell phone at your favorite? What's going on? What do we think about this, Michael?
People do not know how to act these days. I don't even know what to say. I mean, are we going to have to build like a plexiglass wall around the stage for these artists? This is like, what, 3 or 4
Tiny Desk
in the past month? And I saw the one, was it Baby Rexa, who was like hitting at the face with the cell phone, and she was really injured badly, had to get stitches. It's like, what a terrible thing. What's going on at these concerts? Can't we just go have a nice time and then go home? Yeah. Why are we throwing things?
It's this new generation, because you never heard of this 10 years ago. Like,
yeah, they used to throw panties. Now they throw
right. Where's that?
Yeah.
And you have to think about it, for whatever they throw, for it to make it up there clearly and to hit someone means they had to throw it with strength, So people are hauling this stuff off as hard as they can. It's dangerous. Yeah. And I think the real losers are concert goers, because what happens when they put up plexiglass and all that? That just kills the experience, especially if you pay in the front. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
People are crazy. I think here's what I think. I think that when something like that, if the artist security jumps in the crowd and pummels you within an inch of your life, it's deserved.
Yeah,
That's what I think. The minute you throw something at a concert and somebody is performing, their security has a right to brutalize you.
Yeah, the old fuck around and
that's
find
something
out.
You can put into legislation. That's something you can legislate.
Well, I think it's bull, and it needs to stop. So I
just saw Usher, and if anybody touched Usher, we would have attacked.
Yeah,
how about that?
A lot of articles about people touching Usher. Maybe not in that way, but
that's the only way you need to touch these artists.
Well, okay. Well, moving on to our next subject. This has been a trend as well. Another trend. Wiz Khalifa is just the latest of many artists who are selling their music catalogs to buyers like Harbor View Equity Partners for undisclosed amounts of money. His hits Black and Yellow and See You Again are included in the deal, which also see Harbor View founder Sheree Clark and 35-year-old hip-hop star label Taylor Gang partner up. So he's not the only one. Grammy-winning rapper and singer Nelly reportedly sold 50% of his solo music catalog for a whopping $50 million to the same firm, according to TMZ. The 48-year-old star, whose legal name is Cornell Jr., agreed to the mega deal with Harbor View. His includes select hits as Ride With Me, Dilemma, featuring Kelly Rowland, which sold more than 7.6 million records worldwide, and Hot in Here. Following the trend is also Justin Bieber. Sold his for an undisclosed amount, but they're saying around 200 million. Dr. Dre is also sold 50% of his catalog. What is this? What's going on? What do we think the reason for this is?
Yeah, we were just talking about how Tina Turner has sold hers. Obviously, given that she then, passed on not long after, I suppose you can make a case for it. But it's still a thing. They're all selling. And the first thing that comes to my mind is eggs. There was a time when eggs were $8 a carton. There was a time when even Cardi B was on Instagram talking about the price of food had went up. I think that just because they're celebrities doesn't mean they aren't subjected to price increases. And if things have went up for us, regular people, for hundredaires and thousandaires, I can imagine what it's done for millionaires. They have to be paying twice as many taxes for things too. Those Birkin bags are high. And so I think it's just financially motivated. I really do.
Well,
$2 million?
let's also talk about the fact that albums are not selling like they once did, and the next way for these people to make money is to either go on tour and charge $500-$600 a ticket, or sell their catalogs. And some artists don't have the luxury, like a Beyonce, to charge $10,000 for a ticket.
Or maybe they're tired.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna pay more than 50 cents to go see Nelly. I don't know about other people, but I guess you got to get the money from somewhere.
And touring is grueling. When we're talking about like successful touring to the extent that you're actually making money, it means you're either a high performer, you're a Taylor Swift type, right? And you can get the people. You are regularly touring, and it's a part of the grind. It's a grind. So you can just sell this stuff and get that type of money and make a plan for it. And I'm pretty sure somebody like Justin Bieber has a solid plan for getting that type of money and putting it up. I get why they do it. I think maybe the real thing we need to be talking about is what does it mean for music? What
That's the real conversation. You see this type of thing happening with all forms of art these days. There's a real corporate fingerprint on it, right? And I don't know that we figured out what effect this is going to have on what comes next. I mean, certainly I understand the motivation. It's hard to make money now if you're an artist or musician. It's not the same as it was 20 years ago, especially now with all these layers and all these big companies. Everyone's taking their cut before you can get a dime. So fame and fortune are probably less connected than they ever have been. Good for these folks for jumping on an opportunity to make a lot of money now, because in 5 years, they might have had to give it away for a tenth of the price. You don't know what's coming. And
nail that.
And not only that, let's think about this. So if Michael, let's say you have a shirt that I want. And knowing that I'm a stylist and I buy and sell vintage clothing or designer stuff, I'm gonna say, hey, I'll give you $50 for that shirt. But in my mind, I know there's a boutique down the road I can sell that shirt to for $200. So these people that are offering to buy these catalogs from these artists, they might give them $200 million, but in the long run, these catalogs they can use this music for the rest of eternity.
Here's the thing I think we also need to take into account: how crowded the music game has become. We love our artists and things. Okay, I'll give you the best example I can think of. I know everybody has seen the video, or you just remember from your childhood what would happen when Michael Jackson would get on the stage, right? You remember he would come out, he'd stand there for 30 seconds, and people would start dying in the damn audience. Like, they had paramedics out there. I saw a question once posed: what happened to these type of professionals? Or nobody can be this big anymore, or this doesn't exist anymore because people aren't this good. And I would argue that it's not that. We have more access. Right. We can see we can hear thousands of artists in the day. We can put on Spotify and stream and listen to every artist we ever liked over the course of 3 days. It's crowded. There's so much. It's harder to get more attention. Michael Jackson wasn't just amazing. There was no social media.
Right. Nobody could see him on a daily basis.
Right. So now, no matter how much we love our artists, no matter how great they are, we can also just discover people randomly. We can get on SoundClouds and all that. Now it's all on Spotify, and you pay $15 a month. I have a family plan, I pay like $15 a month. But you can be an individual student, maybe pay $6 a month, and you can listen to the whole world at your fingertip. And so when we look at it like that, I think right now this is a unique opportunity for these artists who still came up in the time before this to take advantage. I think in 10, 20 years from now, nobody will be able to get that type of money for their catalog. I don't think that'll be possible. I think they'll be like, we have 300 Justin Biebers on Spotify.
Think of it like this. And in 5 years from now, will we even have confidence that the music is being made by a person instead of artificial intelligence?
Exactly.
It's very hard to tell even now. Right.
Especially with the new rule that the Grammys Association has said they're going to allow AI music to be eligible for Grammys. I think that's ridiculous.
I think the age of the
catalogs now. Get your money.
Yeah, I think the age of the superstar is dying. I'm not saying we won't still have people who just won't get to the big or get to the top, but I think they'll cycle through faster. Like, we got Lil Nas X for 5 minutes, and I'm not saying he isn't still Lil Nas X, but We moved on. Nobody's even charted in hip hop this year. Like the field is very open. That opens the door for a lot of people to make money, but it does kind of kill that mega artist. So
Yeah.
Who's like the biggest artist right now? Like who has that right now? I mean, Beyonce. Forever
Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Ed Sheeran. Yeah. But they all, if we look at it, these people who are mega right now, they do come from a time before all this.
Right. They do.
Yep. You're absolutely right. And I think the whole TRL boom, like that 2002, 2004,
what a time to be alive.
The last group of
106 in Park. I was rushing to see 106 in Park.
Yes.
Those things don't exist.
Yeah.
It's not there. It's going to be very hard today for you to, in my opinion, in 10 years for you to become a Beyonce, you have to be incredible. And what I can tell you is that we won't have as many people like that. You know, we won't have as many options. I don't think we will. It's too much out there. The game has changed. They've got to be on the road. It's a lot.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end of an era.
Madonna just canceled her tour.
Yeah. Yeah. These artists they're tired.
I couldn't get tired. I couldn't do it either.
So moving on, speaking of superstar, I don't even know. This story is so complicated.
I know it goes.
So Britney Spears was out and about in LA the other night, and she saw this basketball player who, the NBA star Victor, I don't know how you say his last name. She saw him, and I guess they knew each other, or she knew him, or it's from something in the past. And she went up and like nudged, and I saw the video. She just tapped him on the shoulder, and his security detail slapped her and took her out. And she said she's waiting for an apology.
What did you say? Took her out?
What do we? Does he owe her an apology? I think so.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I think so. That guy even have a bodyguard. That guy's
Hold on, I have to plug my laptop in. But go ahead, Michael.
No, I think this. From what I've read on this, this basketball player is kind of new to the scene, and he's kind of surrounded by the types of people that you get when you first make it big. And it sounds like one of those kind of staff people was the one that had the interaction with Britney Spears. But I think this is a tough one, right? She's gone through a lot, and to hold her maybe to a standard of etiquette that she's never been able to experience as an adult, from what I can tell, that conservatorship was essentially a prison. I mean, it's called compassion, people. You hit her in the face. No woman, no person should be assaulted in that way for a tap on the shoulder. It seems very extreme.
It costs $0 to say I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Even if he's not.
He should be embarrassed.
And it's his security detail. Right. He is employing them. So he's the face of this incident. So he needs to apologize. I mean, come on.
I don't agree with a damn thing none of y'all just said. Let me try this name.
Call the conversation.
Let's try this. Victor Wembanyama, I think is how you say it. Listen, you know what I saw when I saw the video? I saw some little girl running up, but she wasn't ready. That's true. When I first saw the video, all I saw was a little girl chasing after a very tall celebrity, and then I saw their security detail push her away. Now, because she was a little small, when that man's hand came out, it hit her with force, and then her own hand slapped against herself. See, that's what happened when you play yourself, when you chasing after people. I think what happened was Britney Spears ran after this man, right? And because she is Britney Spears, she felt she should have access. I think if this would have happened to a casual fan, I think it would have been nothing more than somebody trying to sue him because that's what people do. And then they would have dealt with that in court, and I should hope that person would have lost. But I think that as a celebrity, you have a right to have people around you who surround you, who keep you safe. And they should be keeping you safe from everybody. So I don't think that because you are Britney Spears or you are a celebrity, you should have any greater access to a person than anybody. If I am walking away and my security surrounds me and you push up on me and they hit you, that's what security is supposed to do. It just so happens that this person happens to be Britney Spears. And then she was embarrassed and she was mad and she's like, I'm Britney, bitch. And he was like, I didn't even see you. He said he didn't even see her. He was walking. He didn't know she was behind him.
My security's getting fired. My security's getting fired. You don't put your hands on women. You don't.
Maybe he don't like Britney Spears. Y'all bugging. If I'm a celebrity and I got people paid to walk around me, don't touch me unless I want to be touched.
Not some little like girl that you're not threatened by. He could have saved that.
Right. Let's talk about this. Britney's been in the game for close to damn near 30 years. And
I went like 16.
Let me finish. She's been in the game for almost 30 years and have been around millions of fans. And she said there's people grab at her all the time, and not once has her security ever knocked somebody out of the way.
And she's tiny.
Yeah, and I just think all it takes is an apology.
I don't think the security tried to hurt her. They did like this. Britney's just small, so it was enough.
I bet
it hit her hand, and her hand hit her face, and it sucked, and it was uncomfortable. But Britney, keep your hands to yourself. The way you don't want people to touch you, because actually Britney didn't want to be touched.
Nah, he's a liability. I think that security guard is a liability.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's gonna put his hands on the wrong person. Some shit's gonna go down. Why? If you're 9 feet tall, you don't need security, especially if you're just. Where was he walking through the complex?
Nah.
Yeah.
I think that security dude did his job. I would apologize because it makes people feel better, and business is business. But I would
at least for that reason alone, say the apology.
And then you said the right thing. Business is business, and people are starting to look at him funny because he's so cocky and conceited and still hasn't apologized. So he's gonna, in the end, he's gonna be hurt in his pockets. Investors are starting to pull out. People that are advertisers are starting to pull out. So all you have to do is say, "I'm sorry." 2 words.
Britney needs to keep her hands. We're not gonna talk about how Britney needs to keep her hands to herself. Just because you Britney don't mean you can go around touching people.
It's not like she touched his dick or his ass. She literally said, "Hey." Tapped him. It wasn't a hey. It wasn't a hit. It was hey.
We weren't checking for Britney.
Poor
and
Britney.
neither am I. Don't touch me, Britney.
Poor Britney. She has manic behavior.
And I like Britney. Britney. I love she free. She crazy as hell, and I still support it. Let her be free and crazy the way I'm free and crazy. But nah, as a celebrity, I feel like celebrities ought to respect the game. You see the security. Be cool. You Britney. You can find a way to get to him. But I feel like the security did his job and he didn't recognize her. I feel like that's what happened. He didn't recognize her.
He should have looked first.
Everybody don't know everybody.
Okay.
Britney need to keep her hands to herself with her crazy stuff. No.
All right. So we got to move on. But okay. Next subject. This is crazy too.
Matthew Knowles.
Hold on. Hold on.
No.
So the mother of Nixon Alexander, who is Matthew Knowles, the father of Beyonce Knowles. Hold on, let me get all my stuff ready because there's a lot of pictures to go with this.
Matthew.
Come on. Okay, so.
Sorry.
The mother of Nixon Alexander Knowles is speaking about how the non-existent relationship he shares with his half-sister, Beyonce Nixon. Now, I want you guys to really listen to how I'm going to tell this story. Who did I just say? Beyonce, right? Mm-hmm. She's coming out about his relationship with Beyonce. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nixon, who is 13 years old, is the result of an affair between Beyonce's father and Canadian-born actress Alexandra Wright. The scandalous affair rocked the family and ultimately led to Beyonce's parents divorcing, not to mention the singer severing ties with her father as her manager. The story takes an even more heartbreaking turn when we learn that Nixon and his mother had to endure difficult living conditions. In an exclusive interview with The Sun, Wright reveals how they were forced to move into a mobile home located 10 miles away from the multi-million-dollar home where Beyonce and her family reside in luxury. Wright claims that Matthew Knowles owed her unpaid child support, which had subsequently left her with no choice but to file for public assistance while moving into a trailer before being taken in by actress Shar Jackson.
Shar Jackson.
Beyonce, in quote, she says Beyonce is a billionaire and just bought the most expensive house in California, 10 miles from where we live. There has not been any contact, she told the publication. The pain still needs to be healed. My main concern has been dealing with a child that asks, quote, why doesn't that person love me? Wright continued. It's a very human story, and I sit in the bathroom and cry sometimes because I just don't know how to help him with his own person. But I believe our children and grandchildren will be much better human beings than we are, end quote. Now, out of everything I just said, whose name did you hear the most?
Shar Jackson.
Beyonce.
Shar Jackson took me out.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Please hold on, because I'm trying to get through the story. You heard Beyonce's name the most. To me, I never heard Solange. I never heard any other names of the family that he doesn't have a relationship with. So to me, it seems like she's coming after the wrong person.
Correct.
Beyonce has nothing to do with this.
I agree. You know what I heard, Ashleigh? The part where she talked about how he doesn't have a. Basically, she's saying, why don't my sister like me or love me? And all I heard was, why does he even think about that? I feel like she groomed him into feeling abandoned by his sister. Like his sister shouldn't even be a factor to him. His father should be a factor to him. It says to me that what she's done is she's poisoned this boy's mind, and she's highlighted what he doesn't have, and she's pitted him against his own sister. If anything, she has spoiled his ability to even have a relationship with her. So if one day Beyonce felt like, well, damn, regardless of how much my daddy ain't shit, I at least want to reach out to the boy, I don't even think she would be successful, because the boy has been poisoned against her because she hasn't been there. But meanwhile, the problem is that his father hasn't been there. I think that what this woman has done to this child is awful. In addition to breaking up a home, you now are destroying your own home, and you messing with your child's head. And you're making it seem like the things that you didn't provide for him were taken from him by his sister, but it wasn't. You made the choices that you made. You and his father made the choices that you made, and you and his father are the reason he's living the way he's living. His sister has nothing to do with it, and it's sad for me. I'm sad for that child.
Mm-hmm. One of our viewers said, "Hear me out. Just because my daddy had a kid with someone else doesn't mean I need to cultivate a relationship with my stepbrother or sister." Mm-hmm. Yeah, Beyonce doesn't owe them nothing. And I would say, on a personal note, I've kind of been, I've gone through the same thing, and I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this on social media, and I don't care who gets mad. My dad had a baby out of wedlock on my mother when they were married. And people have often criticized me and said, well, you need to have a stronger relationship with that said person. And I've always been, if we talk, we talk. If we don't, we don't. Wow. What my dad and that other individual went through. Now the mother, she's a wonderful lady. She's very close to our family still. But me and her daughter, we don't have the best relationship, and it's always been, oh well, I mean, that has nothing to do with me, my dad's decisions. And I grew up as an only child. Yeah. And I still consider myself an only child because that's how I grew up. And that will never change. So I kind of understand what Beyonce is like. It has nothing to do with me. I didn't grow up knowing this boy.
Yeah.
You never had a reason to have a relationship.
Mhm.
You know.
And the person to blame the most is the father, because if he was any kind of real man, after he broke up his family, he would have
Handle
owned
his
it.
business.
Then he would have stepped up. He would have took care of the brother. And then as a man, he would eventually have talked to his children and said, hey, I ain't shit, but I did have a child, and it's your brother, and it's not his fault. But I bet you he has not done that. I bet he hasn't made reparations. I bet there are no reparations. I bet he hasn't apologized in the way he needed to. He hasn't done anything to bring any of those families together. And it is not Beyonce's job to bring the family together after her father breaks the families up. That's crazy. That's crazy. And this woman is obviously crazy. And what she's doing is she's ruining her son. Because that boy's not going to be okay. And let me tell you something. Any lifestyle that he is supposed to participate in, he's supposed to get it from his father, not from his not from his sister, who ain't got nothing to do with him. Man, this broke her whole family up.
Yeah, Michael, do you have anything to say about this?
I'm kind of taking the other side on this one, actually. And just to circle it back from earlier, I said Shar Jackson only because that's K-Fed's ex, right? And we were just talking about Britney Spears. That's whatever. Anyway, that's why I jumped off this was about Beyonce. So I don't think there's a wrong way to do this one, right? Obviously, it's a super personal situation. I can tell you as a professional and as a son and a friend and a partner, all these things, I've seen infidelity destroy so many families. And it makes my heart break every time, right? Because it really can be about two people in a situation like that, and it doesn't have to have consequences for everybody else. I cringe at this mother who kind of put her son out there in the media in this way. But I also cringe a little at Beyonce, because I think as we get older and wiser, we can become more compassionate. And even if there is a child out there seeking a relationship in an inappropriate way because he's being directed by his mother, it's the worst thing in the world to acknowledge your blood, to want your family, even if it's under difficult circumstances, to be taken care of for, right? So I've seen people do it both ways. Again, I'm not saying there's a right or a wrong here, but the end goal should be harmony in all these instances, right? This is a child at the end of the day.
I think even if Beyonce wanted to reach out, why would she do it now? This is dangerous. That woman is dangerous. That woman would cause a problem. I will put it in the ether that my brother can call me when he's 18.
Right.
And we'll see if we can get along. But I'm not dealing with your mother. And you know what? That's going to give his mother enough time to poison him against him being able to have a decent relationship with his sister anyway. I don't think Beyonce can win here. So unfortunately, I see why she's not there. And I say that as a person who would seek out my brother. I would personally seek out to have a relationship with my brother. I would, but that's the way my heart is. But seeing the way his mama's moving, I don't see how that would make any professional sense for Beyonce. Beyonce being spent the weekend with that boy, that woman being hit her up for some money, got in the media and said Beyonce came over and didn't do right. I don't think Beyonce can win here. I don't think anybody can win with a person like that.
Kate, your son Julian has a half.
But two of them, he's about to be an uncle. His older sister, who's like 24, she is about to have a baby, so he's about to be an uncle.
Do you push that relationship on Julian?
No, you know what? It's a different situation because I knew the older sister, obviously, because she's older than him, and when we were dating. And then one day his dad just showed up with another baby in the car. We were split up, but he showed up with a baby in the car that looked just like my son, and I was like, the hell? Like, the baby was like 8 months old. I was like, damn, like, we've been doing weekends. Like, I dropped him off on the weekend. Nobody ever said anything about a baby. But I wouldn't push it, but I support it. As for Beyonce, that is so sketchy because I would be like, how dare you? But I'd also try to, like, I probably would have sent a gift. Would have been like, okay, like some hush money, like, okay, we're going to keep my name clean here. But. And
if we're talking business is business, that's exactly the point. How much would it have cost Beyonce to toss a few $100,000 towards
keep them quiet.
His family to keep them quiet and taken care of? Now this seems like it's going to be a much larger issue for
that woman. Embarrassed the crap out of her mother, though.
Where was she speaking at?
That woman embarrassed the crap
out
of her
mother. Or a podcast or
the interview?
Yeah.
It was
on Instagram.
The Sun. It was the interview was on some Canadian based.
Oh, okay. I was like, was she on Good Morning America talking about that?
Yeah,
girl,
that woman embarrassed her mother so terrible though. I mean that I remember when that was in the news, and that was embarrassing for her mother.
Poor Miss Tina.
Yeah, that was her mother. So I understand why it's murky. You know, my father, it's not entirely similar, but my father did not marry my mother, but he did marry the next woman, and then she had children, and my father raised his wife's children and didn't raise me. And then just barely raised my brother. I went and found my little brother on my own and had a relationship with my brother, and we did our own thing. And while our father raised his wife's children, and then that ended up blowing up in his face, a whole nother thing. He ended up eating that. And I remember that time, and I remember going for my brother. And I think the things that worked for us was, one, there were no celebrities. Two, we were close to each other. And three, both of our parents had experienced problems with the father. So, you know, we have things that bonded us. Nothing bonds Beyonce to this boy. Nothing bonds him.
Not even Char?
Blood does. Whether she likes it or not, they are.
We need to check their IMDb.
Hey, Char is the real winner. Did she really just take it from people?
Hey, Char, I mean, you know,
she's nice.
bring it back.
Well, moving on.
Trying to take money from Char. Well, technically she did, huh?
That Good Burger check is still coming through.
So we got to move on. We're almost out of time. So we're going to go to our part of the show called the Fashion Files, where we take some of the looks from this week's a lot of events that are going on in Hollywood, New York, and all over the place. So we take some of the best looks and we talk about them and rate them and discuss what we think about them. So first on the list, keeping with the last subject we talked about, Beyonce and Louis Vuitton by Pharrell Williams. This was taken at the after party for the Louis Vuitton show that Pharrell debuted as creative director for menswear. I like it. Beyonce's been her new stylist has been doing crazy stuff with her, stuff that you usually wouldn't see Beyonce in. I like it. It's different. It goes with her whole alien superstar renaissance.
Yeah, that's something like costumey. I can't imagine like maneuvering through a party in that. But
yeah.
I mean, she's in her prime again. Like she looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you think?
Dynasty? Don't it look like remember that TV show?
That is very Dynasty.
Yeah.
I love it.
Shaq.
I love it. I think it's really cool looking. It looks really celebrity-ish though. And so it looks like that thing that regular people can't wear. Like, where do you wear that other than to a party full of celebrities? But with that being said, I think it's awesome. And she is a celebrity, so it's on brand. I like it. I don't know what's going on, but I like it.
Awesome. So most of us, it's a yay, right?
Yeah, it's a yay.
Yeah, we'll give it to her and Pharrell.
Okay, so going next to the Real Housewives of New York is going to start their 14th season this week, and it's a whole new cast. They started from ground up, and this is one of the new leads of the show, Jenna Lyons. She was the former creative director of J. Crew. She's wearing Oscar de la Renta and some boyfriend jeans. I like it. It's mixing.
This is the look. Yeah.
It's mixing everyday chicness with a little bit of glam. I like it. Michael, you said you like it?
Okay. Rich on the bottom, broke on the top.
That's what that's what I'm thinking.
I get it.
Yeah.
She's supposed to know what she's doing because, but I don't know, like those jeans, I don't like anything that's not pressed. Those are just giving me dirty laundry, and I can't. That's giving me like my son's, under my son's bed. And I'm like, what are these doing under here with like a chip and like a stain? Like I hate that.
Like, am I going to go to a celebrity party or am I going to change my own oil?
You know what it's giving me?
She's changing oil. It can be either.
It's giving me a Carrie Bradshaw. It looks like something Carrie Bradshaw wears, Sex in the City.
I can't believe I'm saying this. What shoes does she have on?
Maybe
that will bring it together.
Jack, out of your mouth. What is this?
I know. I'm learning, bro. I'm learning.
No, I like the top, but I would pair it with something absolutely, completely different.
Moving. So, me and Michael say it's a yay. Shaq say nay. Kate, you're nay.
Nay.
Okay, moving on to Marlo Hampton, Alexander McQueen, and Louis V shoes.
Love. She does no
Yes.
wrong to me. I love her. Her body, I love her. She's an icon.
She looks good.
She looks
Marlo gets it right every time. She really does. I mean, this is phenomenal. The shoes just finish it off. Someone else was wearing those super balloon shoes, right?
That's one of the hottest shoes of the season. You really can't see it, but it's like it's supposed to be like a balloon that's squished by the strap.
I would love to see her closet.
Yeah.
She rents
I
it.
like
She
her
rents her
business.
pieces out. That's actually how she makes her money. Her whole business model is she has this amazing collection of vintage designer, and you can rent it for like a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. Then you're supposed to return it. But from what I'm hearing, some people are keeping it instead. So I hope she has her insurance.
She resells it on eBay and stores also. She's definitely a reseller, and she's a diva, and I love her.
All right, moving on. So is it a yay or nay?
This is
Yay.
yeah.
Okay, moving on. We have our queen, Angela Bassett, and Dolce and Gabbana.
Yes.
Absolutely. Rich.
2 snaps
Golden.
and a hand clap.
Shiny. That is everything I would want to be at a party. That dress, that hair, that skin. She looks
That
gorgeous.
age. Hello.
Everything. I know. Oh my God. She's killing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is it a yay for everyone?
Oh my God. She's a god.
Everything except the bag. That bag to me is not it.
Is that
All right.
Yeah, that's
So moving on, we have Coco Jones and Gucci from head to toe. So she's wearing 2 different seasons of Gucci. She's wearing the Alejandro Michel era Gucci monogram cap, and then the boots I think were in Tom Ford's era, I want to say.
Stunning, but like I just feel like, you know, that's kind of an older look, and I'm not like a snob at all when it comes to things, but I just feel like she could have just done something more original. I just feel like it's been overdone. You know, when those boots came out within the past 5 years, everybody had them. So I feel like she could have been her stylist or her, but she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman.
Yeah, I agree with Kate. Those boots have been overdone.
See, I don't have any style or anything, so I really didn't understand a word that you said, Ashley. But I think she looked nice, but I don't know. It looked affordable though. I don't think it's supposed to look affordable.
Off the rack is what I was gonna say. It looks like it's off.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, that off the rack. It looks affordable. It looks like something that I would see at a party, and I don't know nobody with no money. So,
Michael, what do you think? You said off the rack.
To me, you know, she looks gorgeous, gorgeous person.
she looks beautiful though. She's fine.
Yeah, I would say get a new stylist because you know she can knock this out of the park. This one's not it for me.
I'm on my podcast.
She look good though.
She looks great.
I'm on my podcast. I'll call you.
Yeah, she looks beautiful, beautifully affordably. I don't know. I feel like my mom, God rest her soul, was a fashionista type, and I feel like she could have pulled this off in rainbow.
Those
most definitely.
She could have.
Yeah.
She could have pulled the equivalency of that in rainbow. She could have.
Like 5 years ago, I'd have been like, "Dang, Coco Jones got some heat on." But
one of our viewers say it's given Sheen with a drop of Gucci.
Yeah,
most definitely.
Go ahead, Jokey.
So it's a nay, basically.
J-Lo label and Gucci.
Okay, going on. We have Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner and Dolce & Gabbana from head to toe.
I love that. That's sexy and like amazing. I love that black lace. That's hot. I love that they're fighting about that too. Her and Courtney.
Yeah, I like it. I definitely like it. It's something different for Kim. You don't usually see her in something like this. You usually see like the browns,
like
the
Italian
nudes.
Catholic.
Yeah,
the blackface. I love blackface. I wear black lace every day. Henny.
I like it. Michael, what do you think?
You know, I got a love-hate with Kim's fashion. I think a few years ago, maybe it was a little bit better. Maybe she's finding her stride now that she's in a little more control over it. This to me is close, but it's not quite there.
Okay, Shaq, what do you think?
Given Halloween cosplay, but okay, what y'all said.
Okay.
And her toes are out, by the way, and that bothers me every time in a photo.
I feel like they about to go trick or treating in a rich
It
neighborhood.
is very cosplay, like Halloween type. You're right.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
are we going to
I
a
love it
haunted house?
though.
Okay, so yay, Kate. Yay for you.
Yay.
Michael, it's a nay for you.
Nay for me.
Shaq, it's a nay for you. Okay, moving on. We have Ryan Gosling and Gucci. I love it.
Love
looks
it.
good.
So cool.
I
So
love it.
So fine.
Alejandro Michel, who is the creative director for Gucci, did these suits to his second last collection, and they all are great. I love all the colors he did, the fabric, the fit. I believe that suit was originally bell bottoms. I think they tailored it for Ryan, but usually, originally it had a 70s flair to it. It had like a big flower on the collar as well, but I think they tailored it to his look. But I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I a little bit of moisture in my mouth. If I did men, I would do him.
Okay. Daddy supreme.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a yay.
Yes,
Yes,
he looked good in that pink.
All right.
It's not washing him out or nothing. It just work.
Moving on, we have Margaret Robbie and hold on, let me get her up. We have Margaret Robbie and
her Barbie stuff too. They all doing the Barbie stuff.
well, this is not this is a Barbie look from the original doll. They recreated, but she's in Scaparelli.
Yeah, I know exactly what Barbie that is. I mean,
I recognize that Barbie myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
She look good.
Is it a yay?
It's a
Yeah.
yay.
Okay. Moving on, we have Ava Max. She was also at the Barbie premiere. She is in Monet.
oh, that's who that is. Okay, yeah. She looks great. She's a performer, a singer.
I like it.
She looks great.
It's okay. It's not wowing me, but she looks good.
All I can see is those double G's, Henny.
Michael, what do you
She's
think?
pretty.
She looks super pretty. I think this is just a look that doesn't photograph well, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shaq?
I wish I looked good at that.
I think given where she is, I guess it tracks and it's pretty. But I wouldn't vote for it or nothing, but I'm not against it. It's the Barbie premiere and she's in like a pretty exposing dress and it's okay. I don't I love how it looks though, like the material, the fabric or whatever, all that. It looks very beautiful.
So we're all giving it a yay.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but in this instance, I would have rather seen less skin. I would have liked to see a pretty dress.
I agree.
This one's a nay for me.
Bra as a shirt.
Yeah, I'm not gonna vote for it.
Okay. Moving on, we have Sam Smith and Vitamins.
What?
Oh.
Didn't we just see that last week and it looked fire? Leave it to him to ruin it.
Okay, yeah. Shaq, we did. Now this is fresh off the runway from their latest collection. They did a whole bunch of oversized stuff. I liked it on the runway. On him, it doesn't work for me.
I don't like it on him.
He upsetting me. This is a great time for him to highlight some plus size designers. Because he done got big as hell. And ain't nothing wrong with the rolls, baby. You have enough money to put some fat designers on the map. And he's not doing it. He's fat and he looks fat and I don't like it.
Okay. I think this look is wearing him. I think somebody like Lil Nas X could have pulled this off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I don't like fat people looking fat on purpose.
Yeah, it's not working. So it's a nay.
It's a nay.
I wish I could say yay because the look to me is fire, but like you said, on him it's not working.
No.
Okay.
Like Lil Uzi Vert.
You guys just get ready because we're going to be seeing a lot of this fall and winter. This oversized stuff is coming back.
I know. Good.
Okay.
Well, at least they can eat some cheeseburgers.
Exactly. Thank you. Can we take crop tops away? I'm so sick of them.
Going on, we have Kendrick Lamar and Chanel.
Love.
Mm-hmm.
He got a lot of flack for this from Black Twitter, of course, because they don't understand it.
I don't understand it.
They don't like men wearing pearls.
Y'all know I'm the Black Twitter audience, so that's why I don't get it, right? Okay. It tries.
I've heard men don't like men in pearls.
You don't see a lot of black men in classic Chanel, and that's what it is. It's the tweed, the tweed jacket, the pearls, the Chanel pants, the tweed pants.
The problem isn't the hat. The hat isn't the problem. I thought the hat was the problem.
No, it's not really. I like the look.
Huh?
Michael,
So,
what do you think, Michael?
To me, this works, except I think the tweed is a step too far. It reads a little vintage, and the rest of it looks super modern to me. So, probably an A. I would go with an A on this one.
Okay, Shaq.
No, I don't get it. But I also have on a Yoda t-shirt, so what the hell do I know?
I love it.
I love it. I love a metrosexual. Jack.
Okay.
No. Don't
Um,
listen to me.
Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get my life together over here. We only have a couple more, so bear with us.
Oh, Lord.
Next we have Christina Aguilera and Balenciaga.
She does no wrong. Excellent.
Phenomenal.
To me, this is my best dress for the week. I love it.
Me too. She's
I
one of the
love
most beautiful
Beyonce.
women.
I love
absolutely love
Balenciaga.
her.
I love black, and it's hitting all in the right spots for her.
It
It's
is.
giving
She is
Maleficent,
so gorgeous.
and I'm with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
am an Xtina stan. Like I know everything. I love her. She
Michael, what do you think?
top five.
Magnificent. The dress is like if there was like a melted black metal and they poured it on her body in a dress form, that's what it would look like.
Yeah. So we all say yay overall.
This
Yay.
is how I wish Angelina Jolie looked when she was dressed up as Maleficent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hot. So
Oh,
our last look is at the latest Barbie premiere, and we have Margaret Robbie, and I think she's wearing. Let me look.
Is that a dick print? That's what I see. And that's what I'm looking for.
It sure looks like it. Yes. It
I
sure
didn't
looks
see it
like
till
it.
you said it, but
This is
now
the
it's
best.
there.
Nay. Or yay.
We have Margaret Robbie. She's wearing Jeremy Scott, and he's wearing Gucci again.
They look like
Yay.
Barbie and Ken.
Yeah,
It works.
it's
Yay.
okay. It's okay. It's not like I
Yeah,
love
I'm not
it.
blown away by it though. You
Yeah.
know, it looks like the outfit when they're about to head to the after party and start drinking.
Yeah. So let's go back over our looks really quick. We had Beyonce and Louis
Hi.
Vuitton. We had Jenna Lyons and Oscar de la Renta.
I trust her.
We have Marlo and Alexander McQueen and Loewe. We have Angela
Model.
Bassett and Dolce. We have
Goddess.
Coco Jones and Gucci. We
Got those
have
two
Kim Kardashian and Dolce & Gabbana. Ryan Gosling and Gucci.
Mm.
Whew, giant. We have Margaret Robbie and Jeremy Scott. We have Sam Smith and Vitamins. We have Kendrick Lamar and Chanel. Christina Aguilera and Balenciaga. And of course, we just went over them. So who stands out to you all this week?
Oh, there's so many good ones. But I think me personally, and this is a hard thing to say because I always want to give it to like somebody like Angela Bassett or something. But that lady looks great in that the Maleficent thing. It's Christina. That's Aguilera.
Yeah.
Aguilera, yeah.
That's really celebrity-ish.
So that's your favorite. Michael, who's yours?
That's fire.
Marlo Hampton was it for me.
Ooh,
You can
she
tell
was
this is
good,
a person dedicated to the craft, and I love to see it.
She
Okay.
doing good.
Kate, who is yours?
Probably Xtina. I mean, I think she's slaying. I mean, even just to like her hair and her makeup and her jewelry.
Mhm.
I mean, those are like a diamond choker. I mean, her hair alone, like to even get your hair that blonde and like have she's just an icon.
Where was she
Yeah.
wearing it to? How about that?
We don't
She's
know. I
probably
don't know
in
what she
the Paris
was.
Fashion Week or just taking promo. I don't even know. She's rich.
Yeah.
That shit fire. I'm gonna give it to her anyway.
All right.
Look at
Well,
those boobs.
this has been our show. I think we had a really good show tonight. I like this combination. I
Yeah.
always love having Michael, of course, because he's so well spoken and so just like.
Oh my God, both Shaq and him are. I'm on your level.
Stop it.
Thank you,
Stop
darling.
it.
I like
And
it.
of course, Shaq, my right hand, and we have Kate, who is a mess.
It's a
I
goofy.
love her.
Oh my God, my whole life is a mess.
So,
My
We
kids are cool.
support you though, boo. We support you.
are all minds clear?
Yeah, I'm clear.
All right, please like and share. Catch us back on Wednesday for a whole new episode. I don't know who the cast is going to be, but you'll see on Wednesday. So please be safe. Again, like and share. And hold on, we have a viewer comment. Who is this?
Ooh, put it up there.
Oh, my mom says, yeah. She said,
Sam was coming through with facts too. In the comment
Yeah,
section, there was a lot
oversized
of
look.
Pam-isms, and I was supportive. Because it was Pam.
Yes.
We
I
hear
see
you,
you,
Pam.
Pam.
We see you.
All right, you guys. So love you guys. Be safe
Bye, Boo.
and
Love you.
peace out.
Bye, Shaq.
Thanks,
Bye, Michael.
everyone. We'll see